Welcome to the Becoming Unique podcast, a lifestyle podcast with a focus around wellness, self-care, self-love, and just so much more. Welcome, y'all. Hey. So, to bring everybody up to speed on what's going on in this season of the Becoming Unique podcast, this season, season 9, is all about my book, Your Guide to Bringing More Acts of Self-Care. Now, this book right here is a self-care book. And actually, I call it a workbook because guess what? You got to put the work in with this book. You truly got to put the work in with this book. But with this book is broken down into 12 chapters, which I like to call 12 weeks. And each week, I am introducing different forms of, small acts of self-care. So one week we're talking about affirmations. Another week we're talking about journaling. The next week we're talking about meditation. And the list keeps going on and on. And all of these actions are actions that you can slowly start to incorporate in your life if it's not already there. Or if you do have some of these actions in your life, you may want to see it from a different angle and respond to a lot of the journaling prompts and the questions and just get the juices flowing. So sometimes we already may have an action that's already there, but we're kind of stagnant and stuck in our own ways. But it's great to get a refresher sometimes. If you're going to the gym and you always take the same class, the same instructor all the time, and you're getting your workout on, and one day you get a new instructor that's teaching the same class, the same style of class, but now it's like, whoa, that new instructor brought new energy to it. And it's like, wow, we never did this move before. I never came from it from this angle, and so on. So even though we may be an expert in an area or we may already practice something, don't be afraid to try different instructors. This week is the week that we're going to talk about movement. Let's move that body. Let's move that body. But before we start talking about movement, the past few weeks I have been talking about a different tea that I am drinking for that particular episode. And this week, I'm not going to be drinking tea. This week, I'm drinking water. Yep, that's right. I am drinking H2O. And I felt it was very important to also discuss the importance around water. Like, we have to be mindful to hydrate ourselves. Hydration is key. And especially if you're moving your body. If you're moving your body, a lot of times you start sweating. And, we need to replenish and hydrate and so on. So be mindful to drink water because, and I say this, and some people may be like, what are you talking about? Of course we know to drink water. That's not always true because I spent a lot of decades of my life not drinking water. But, so I just want to put the reminder in there that, be mindful to incorporate water in your life, or even if water is incorporated in your life, maybe see how you can incorporate more water in your life. And I actually have a podcast episode on water, and it's coming from a different angle. So it's not talking about the recommended 8 glasses of water a day. It's coming from, I don't know, maybe a more energetic level around water. I will definitely tag that episode in the show notes. It's definitely such a beautiful episode, and it's a conversation around water, but it's not the common conversation around water. I think a lot of conversations in the society that we live in is always about, what's that water going to do for me? Am I going to lose weight by doing it? And coming from more of that angle, but it's coming from a different perspective or a different conversation around water. So it's a very powerful episode, and I will be sure to tag that in the show notes. So the beverage of today is water. Yep, water. I am hydrated. All of my teas have affirmations. I should have thought, like, what should be the affirmation for the water? I am hydrated. Okay. So let's get into today's episode. Today's episode is about movement. And in my book, Your Guide to Bringing More Acts of Self-Care, each chapter is asking you to spend 1 week on the chapter. So in the chapter of movement, I am giving suggestions on different ways we can be mindful on moving our bodies. Now, I'm not telling you to go out and get a gym membership, go do a 5K, or do any, strenuous activities, in order to get your movement in. I am just asking you in the book, or suggesting to you, that you start to incorporate more movement in your life. So it can be small actions, just as when you wake up in the morning and before you jump out of bed, you start to move the energy in your body by doing some stretches. So you could do something as simple as just like getting up and sitting on your bed, just like I'm sitting like this, and just, doing some neck rolls, going in circles, and just going around and move my hair out my face. And just doing some neck rolls. Starting from the top. And if you're watching this on the visual side and seeing me do neck rolls, you can go ahead and do some neck rolls too. Even if you're listening to this on the audio, you could just sit down and if you're not driving and just start to, close your eyes and just do some neck circles. Another action that you can do is just, clasping your hands and reversing the clasp. If you're watching this visually, you'll get to see exactly what I'm doing. And then pulling it up over your head and then reaching from one side to the other and just feeling that stretch. Just by me doing this, I feel so much energy pushing through my body, and it's kind of waking things up. So just starting off, like if you're not a person that's out there and just super active, you can just start off with just doing, 5 minutes of just intentionally moving your body before you get out of bed so you can wake the energy up within your body. Another way of moving your body is just walking. If you are able, walk. You can walk. You can say, you probably have heard this one before. Park when you go to, let's say you're going to the grocery store and you're driving. Park at a further parking space and just go ahead and walk the extra few feet to get to the, to the store, the supermarket, or, intentionally say, I am going to go outside and go for a 20-minute walk. These are different ways that you can intentionally start to add more movement into your body, And now, if you want to go ahead and start adding movement and, a higher vibration than just saying, I'm just going to go ahead and do some neck rolls and take a 20-minute walk today. And you're like, you know what? I got to get me a workout routine going. And I need to figure out how am I going to get more exercise in my life. Definitely, I highly suggest start to play around and figure out what works for you. So for me, and I can speak for myself, I know that I need workout classes. So a lot of people be like, their first step of like saying, I'm going to start to add more movement to life will just say, I'm going to join a gym. But if they join the gym and the gym has all of this equipment and they just really don't know what to do and they're not self-motivated and so on, joining a gym may not always be the right action for you, or if you join the gym, you may be mindful to say, well, do you have workout classes? I know some gyms out there, they have this incredible package deal. It's super, super affordable. But they don't have workout classes, or they don't have showers, or they don't have like towels and stuff like that. So these are all the questions that you may want to start to ask, and start to realize what works for you. So upon me joining a gym, it was solely for the workout classes, because I knew that I would not go to the gym to go work out on the workout floor. I was not going to be on a treadmill or working those different machines throughout the place, even though my gym may have the most high-tech machines and all of this stuff, all of these tools to support me. I just know my personality. I need a workout class because when I go on those machines or I go start working the equipment, I know me. I'm going to be like 10 minutes and find a reason to be done. I'm going to find so many reasons. All of a sudden, I got to go to the bathroom. What time is it? I'm going to find a reason not to complete the workout, which is fine because guess what? I hold grace for myself and I understand how I work. I'm not motivated in that type of way. But I know if I go take a class, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to stay the full 45 minutes or an hour of that class. So I know I'm going to get a complete workout by taking a class. So that works for me. And I understand that. So that gym membership that may be calling to me saying, oh my God, you're so affordable. I must join the gym, but they don't have any workout classes. Guess what? It's not going to work for me. So if I have to join the gym that's a little bit more expensive, but I'm going to get the value of the gym, then that's worth it for me. So actually the gym that was inexpensive would be overpriced or too expensive, or I wouldn't be getting my value because I would never go. So then I would be paying money for no reason. And then, so that's just my story, on how I get my workout in because I know I'm not self-motivated in that type of way. So I'm going to do the classes. For someone like my mother, she does workout classes, but she does walking. She wears her Fitbit. And she has her goal of how many steps she wants to do, how many steps she wants to do a week, how many steps she needs to do daily. And she is, definitely motivated with those numbers of that Fitbit and making sure she gets her steps in. So that's her motivation. But for me, that's not my motivation. I'm not going to get motivated like, oh, I have 4,000 more steps to go. That's just not me. And I understand that, I'm not. And that may be for maybe the more competitive person. Not saying my mother's competitive, but I don't think I have the competitive streak in me at all. So I'm not going to be, competing with myself every day about, oh my God, I got to get 4,000 more steps in. Oh, I got to beat what I did yesterday. I'm not going to do that. But I know a lot of people have that streak within them. And, she has that streak within her. So she's able to bam, 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 bam. She definitely gets more steps than I do every day. And if you walk next to her, I'm pretty sure at 72 years old, she can outwalk you. Definitely. She knows she got the walk. She is not walking anywhere close to being 72 years old, but I'm a true believer because she has been very intentional and very aggressive with making sure that in her life, she's getting her steps in, getting her walks in, moving her body every day. She does go to the gym and she does take her classes, her Zumba classes. And that's the thing. She takes Zumba, I take yoga, Two completely different forms of working out, but we both know what works for us. Yoga works for me. It makes me feel good. I'm motivated by going to a yoga class, and going to Zumba works for her. Also, that's the other thing. When you're working out, you don't want to feel like this is torture and you're counting the minutes. You can't wait till it's over. You're looking at the clock every 5 minutes. If that's happening, then maybe that's not the workout for you. And I suggest that you keep playing around to figuring out what works for you. Within moving your body, there are so many ways, so many ways a person can move their body, And just to put the top ones out there, you can do running, you can do yoga, you can do aerobics, you could do strength training. The list can keep going on and on and on all the different styles of workouts that you can do. And like I said, you can just simply wake up in the morning and be intentional with just moving your body. And then just starting off with that, like if you are just completely at the baseline of no movement in your life and you're like, you know what? I want to start moving my body. Be mindful of just jumping in there and getting too aggressive. Just start first with, like I said, start with just getting up and just doing a few movements in bed, a few exercises in bed. You can go on YouTube. YouTube is such a beautiful resource out there, and just look for different movements that bed exercises. So it's not like you feel like, oh, I got to roll a yoga mat out. I got to clear a corner off for me to work out in. I don't really have space in my home to work out. Sometimes all of those dynamics stops us from working out. And like I said, just start off with the bed. Just start off with just making gentle movements within the bed to start to rev the energy up. And once you start to rev that energy up, then you may want to graduate to the next level and be like, you know what? Maybe today I'll do a 10-minute workout. Just, I'll do a chair workout or whatever. But just be intentional. That's my biggest, suggestion. Just be intentional with moving your body. And I truly believe that moving your body is such a key to so much. And one of the biggest things it's a key to is your health. Moving your body is the key to health. It really, really is. And I'm a true believer of moving your body, for more reasons than just looking good. Okay? I don't come from movement from that direction. I come from movement on getting that energy flowing. Getting that energy flowing within your body, and then all other things will start to reveal itself within you. Be mindful. But anyway, I have to share the supportive episodes that I have for this week of movement. So let me get my list out. So the week of movement, I have quite a few episodes out there around movement. The first one is going to be yoga with Adell. So I had this amazing conversation with Adell. She's like this amazing yogi on Instagram, and I love her thoughts around yoga as well too. Even though she can do all of the amazing moves and have all that flexibility and so on, she really comes from a place of like, holding grace for yourself and not being so serious with like, oh no, that pose is not right, you're doing it wrong type thing. No, she's here for holding that grace and understanding that there's levels to it, and and not the pressure of like, you gotta look like me or you're not doing it right. Like, I love that she has that mindset. So it was such a beautiful conversation around yoga. But like I say, it's on the level of just holding grace for yourself and showing up as you are. Then I had a conversation of Pilates. Oh my God, that was such an amazing conversation. And my guest gave at the end, she gave some beautiful advice. And I definitely highly suggest you listen to that episode, the Pilates episode. Such a good one. And if you don't know what Pilates is, this is an excellent episode to even learn what Pilates is. Then I had another episode called Fitness, and this is with Austin. And that was another conversation. And I feel all my guests come from the same place, holding grace for yourself, because I feel like there's a lot of platforms out there that may be like, go hard or go home type energy. Go hard or go home. You're not doing it right. Come on, give me 10 more type energy. And all of the guests that I've had on this podcast to talk about fitness and moving your body is coming from a space of holding grace for yourself, being intentional, just start, type energy. So those are 3 beautiful conversations that can support you in this chapter of your guide to bringing more access self-care, the chapter around movement. And yeah, make sure you are drinking your H2O, your water. Yes, make sure you're drinking your water so you can stay hydrated. And you be like, I am hydrated. Be mindful to be intentional about how you can start to move your body, in different ways and so on like that. Make sure you get your copy of Your Guide to Bringing More Acts of Self-Care if you don't already have the copy. And yeah, let's move our bodies. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much for showing up for the Becoming Unique podcast. I will see you next week to talk about another chapter within this book. And if you haven't seen the previous episodes, make sure you go back and listen to those and get the supportive information around each chapter. And let's be mindful to, bring more acts of self-care into our lives. Yes. Bye, y'all.